Hey, what's up guys? Hanging with Mike Bedell with Bedell Property Management. We're gonna do a different video for you guys today, and we are going to show you his 2017-18 salt rig setup, but this is his liquid De-Icer rig setup.
Yeah, different from the last video.
Which is crazy cool. A lot of you guys know that Mike handles all my salt. He's my subcontractor for that. Great partnership, great friendship, but he's been crushing it with taking his business to the next level and doing more with liquid de-icing.
Yeah, definitely. It was a little something forced upon us. We've run into a salt shortage, Southeast Michigan. I've seen it on Instagram. It seems like it's hitting everyone at this point.
Yeah, Indiana even.
Yeah.
And all these other places.
It's nuts. So
contingency plans, right?
Yeah. So we've dabbled with liquid de-icer the past several years. The rig that's in the last video has a pre-wetting unit on it. I think I referenced that.
Yep.
We've dabbled. I had a smaller liquid de-icer unit. We even broke that out at one point this year, and seeing that this was something we were going to use more and more, it was time to make an investment in something that was going to put down product faster, allow us to do more profitably, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And so a buddy of mine had actually gone hardcore into the liquid game a few years ago and had switched back to salt for a multitude of reasons, was still doing it a little bit, but had a couple units sitting.
Okay.
And I was able to get basically a like new unit at about 2/3 cost.
Big investment.
Yeah, and I owe a lot to the guy for kind of extending the olive branch there. I actually, and you never know what you don't know, I reached out to just pick his brain and say, what do you like? I knew he had more experience than I did, and I just wanted to pick his brain, and I was blown away when he basically instantly was like, well, why don't you try one of these out, and if you like it, you know, we'll settle up on it.
That's cool.
I was blown away by his offer. So we put it to use here, and it's done well for us.
Well, it's always good having, like you said, multiple different rigs,
yeah,
multiple different setups.
Yeah.
If you are on that level,
yeah,
right?
Oh yeah, and we're fortunate enough to be on that level.
And a lot of people always ask me, like, why don't I get into the salt game? Because as you know, and most of you guys know, it is expensive. There's a lot of other variables and factors, yeah. Especially like one you just said, where availability becomes an issue.
Yeah, overnight it went up over 100% in price on us.
Right.
And it didn't even so much as matter that we, being a little bit more veteran in this industry than Brian,
sure,
had pre-bought salt that we tried to hedge ourselves against this, and in a typical year that's fine for us. We're able to not run into any issues, but as I mentioned, it seems like basically no one is safe from this at this point.
Right.
And something we've been able to do that's definitely taken the sting off this year,
for sure,
is just use more liquid.
And not only that, even potentially gain market share in the future.
That is certainly true.
Kind of a whole nother topic for a whole nother time.
Yeah, definitely.
But
certainly something to look at. It's definitely opened our eyes, and it's opened some of I think our clients' neighbors, I should say, eyes as well.
Yeah.
That they've been used to salt, and now they're seeing something that's very similar,
right,
but not similar in certain applications. That sometimes works faster, sometimes works more efficiently. Definitely doesn't leave a residue like salt can.
Right.
And salt is not. It's not a bad thing. It is a great tool. There's certain times where it works way better than liquid. So if salt is certainly a safe way to go. Liquid certainly can be a wonderful alternative, but there's a lot of science to it. So I'm not advocating going out and just getting into it without knowing what you're doing, because that can be a costly mistake.
For sure. Well, like you said, you got to know the game. You got to know the numbers. Stuff that is already. Mike's definitely a senior into this whole topic, but let's do a quick walk around of the liquid de-icing rig.
Let's do it.
You can tell them any highlights, any lowlights, anything that you think would be really applicable. If you guys got questions, leave them down below. Mike does have a YouTube channel, Bedell Property Management. He doesn't like grow it like we do, but it's just good for his business and other marketing reasons. But he is active on YouTube, so if you have questions, leave a comment and maybe you can answer them.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to.
So let's do a walk around of the rig and show them what we got. I'll just follow you, brother. You can tell them what you got. And
sounds good. So we've got a 350-gallon liquid tank here
on the 350 truck.
Yep, on the 350 truck.
There you go. I love it.
So previously I made mention we had a smaller unit. It was electric powered. We were literally running it off of one of the upfitter switches in the cab.
Okay.
And that was fine. but it maxed us out around 8 or 9 gallons a minute, which left us crawling through parking lots. And seeing this year that we were going to be doing a lot more with liquid, not just an every once in a while type situation, this was going to get time prohibitive for us. Everybody has sites that open up in the morning. We all got to get it done. One of our sites is a church. People who have churches know the fun in that. So as such, we need something that could get the job done quickly. Other thing we run into that I haven't touched on is salt supplier availability, liquid availability. There's like liquid suppliers that I can count on one hand in Southeast Michigan versus I couldn't even name all the salt suppliers in Southeast Michigan. So we have to have a liquid tank or two that allows us to load quickly. That was part of the reason I wanted to go to this unit, because it's a gas-powered unit. We've got the fill hose there. I can hook up to a tank that I own that's sitting on one of our sites full of liquid, and this tank can go from empty to full in about 3 or 4 minutes.
That is awesome. So talk about response time, and you actually have your tank kind of in the middle of your route.
I do,
which is very convenient.
It is,
and that's by design.
Totally by design.
Very strategic.
Yes.
So you're not waiting to, like, you can go to a site when Angelo's on one side of town, and then when you're halfway through your route, almost re-up. You have different options and stuff like that.
Oddly enough, that site Brian just mentioned, Site 1 has a location 2 miles down the road. If I'm running bulk salt and I need to refill, that's extraordinarily convenient. It's actually on the way to the next site I'm doing.
Right, which is my site.
There you go.
Typically.
That is sometimes very true. And as such, a liquid supplier that's closest to me at that point is down by Metro Airport. That's about a half-hour distance from that site. It's a huge waste of time going there and back. They're open, they're great, but that same company is willing to come out and fill my tank for me, and that saves me hours. For sure. Hours.
So there's a lot that goes into it, other than just buying a Buyers or a Boss or whatever else.
This isn't the name brand game. Oddly enough, some of those companies have started making liquid units. They also make pre-wetting units, but they see this on the horizon. They know this is going to become more and more of a thing.
Well, we're definitely going to have to do more videos on the liquid rigs, because you're talking about how there's a whole nother level, and we'll get some access to some of that stuff next fall.
Absolutely.
Because Mike's not stopping here. This guy, he's a schemer, and we're going to the next level. So, all right. So what are we looking at for anybody who doesn't know the liquid rig, the liquid game, the liquid setup?
So what we've got here is this is going to be broken into 3 zones. We've got a center boom here. This will spray the width of the truck. So it's real good for doing like an entry drive, a small situation, some spot where you want to make sure you're applying accurately.
What is those swap? Maybe 10 feet?
Yeah, 8 to 10 feet. And the cool part about liquid, more so than salt, is it's going to spread out. It's going to spread out by vehicular traffic. It's going to spread off especially by grade. And it will run downhill and melt far more than some salt ever will. And then on either side is a jet boom, and that'll blow probably 6, 7 feet past the edge of the truck. If you turn on all 3 of them, you're now at the point where you're spraying 16 to 20 feet wide, and you can make that adjustment by, there's a valve up there that you can open and allow liquid to recirculate into the tank, or you can close that and up the pressure going out here.
See, I'm familiar with some of these systems. We were talking before we started the video. When I worked at True Green, we had a lot of the same pumps.
It's very simple. These are all very simple machines. It's very similar to a summer fertilization liquid setup, in the sense that you're going to want to have agitation, and in that case you keep that valve open. And then lastly, above that, we've got a hose reel that allows us to very efficiently do sidewalks that say I can't stand at the bed of this truck and hit holding that wand.
Because you do need to have access to that stuff for sidewalks if you don't have a snowblower with you, for example. This is probably more after the snow event.
It's after the snow event, though. You mentioned a snowblower. You can fit a snowblower right here.
Very true, very true. This is really cool. So I don't know how much you want to talk about price, but what can these go for? Let's talk about good, better, best. Most guys are going to want to know how much.
This unit new, it'll put you back about $7,000 with tax.
So let's say it's big boy boy club.
It is a big boy club, but you definitely get the return on investment. If I wanted to, I could slightly modify this and use it in our fertilization business if I wanted to.
Fair enough.
That might even be something we do. I haven't taken it that far yet because this is really only about 4 or 5 weeks old to my company.
Okay, okay. Now, what size tank? I think you might have said 350, right?
Yeah, it's a 350-gallon tank.
So did you throw this in here dry weight? Obviously, is probably 700-800 pounds for a setup like this.
Oddly enough, no, it's incredibly light.
Okay.
We actually, the guy I had it from, he has a nice shop. He has skid steers sitting there. So yeah, we used the skid steer to pick it up off the shelf on the wall.
Okay.
Double checked it worked, and we used the skid steer to pick it up. But shuffling it around in the truck, you and me, Brian, we could move this in and out if we had to.
Well, that's because we've both been working out. We've both been doing CrossFit, right?
A little CrossFit, right? Yeah, there you go.
Mike and I have both been eating Tim Hortons Timbits nonstop and eating French toast every day. So we are definitely, I'm definitely out of shape. I'm not going to speak for Mike, but
spring will come fast. We will get in shape soon.
I think I see everybody's videos around this time of the year, and we're all like, man, we better hit the gym for about a month before we all get smoked.
Yeah. But, at least I got rid of the beard.
Right. Yeah. Right. We actually, now that it's not snowing 7 times in 10 days, we've all been able to take showers and shave once, right?
Yeah. A week's worth of growth.
So, the Honda engine, what's the cc or horsepower on that? Like maybe
I'm guessing 160 because that's what it says.
My man right here.
Yeah. That's kind of the interesting thing about when you buy used, especially when you're buying something from a buddy. You know, I didn't do a lot of spec shopping on this per se.
Okay.
It was just he was like, I really like this. If I was doing more liquid, I would. And it's so funny because he actually reached out and was like, yeah, I just put the other 2 liquid units in my truck because he started feeling the pinch of the salt shortage as well.
Gotcha.
And was like, well, I don't need this liquid unit back. You can keep it, but he's now back in the game a little bit. So it'll have its place. We'll see what salt prices do next fall and how much of this we're going to use. That said, I have some clients who actually are pretty into us using this now.
Yeah.
So all price aside, I think that may weigh into how they want maybe even some of their contract structure next year.
Okay. So let me ask you this: what about maintenance? What besides taking care of the pumps and the sprays? Because let's be honest, we can't have stuff break down. Right?
Yeah, that is
going to be the one of the things where your salt spreader, yours is a Buyers, if I'm not mistaken.
It is, yeah.
It's been working fantastic. No complaints.
Yeah, no complaints. I mean, that thing's even taken on the chin a little bit this year, and it's still rocking and rolling. So
what do you think? What would be some issues where if people evaluated a unit like this, what's something that they need to keep an eye on? Like, what's some problem areas if they went into an investment like this? What's some stuff that could break down or potential wear spots or anything they need to know?
The biggest thing you can do to maintain this is, and Brian actually saw it a couple minutes ago before we clicked on the camera here, is I've got a can of WD-40 sitting in the cab.
Okay.
And after every event, in theory, if possible, if it's not crazy cold, we'll wash this unit down before we park it. And before I park it, the last thing I'm going to do is whether it's the little cam lock fittings right here, or the choke that's on the engine, or the throttle switch, the valves that control the agitation, or open and close the hose reel, all of those, even to the worm gear fittings. We WD-40 all that stuff.
You have to.
Even the cam lock fittings on the fill hose. When I filled up this past weekend, I even did the valve that's on our liquid tank. Okay. Calcium chloride is corrosive. Salt is too. It's a dirty industry. And that was the biggest thing that the guy who gave me this unit and kind of opened my eyes to how cool this could be. He was like, you need to do this, and he was speaking from his experience where he's a bigger company. It's harder to keep a whole bunch of guys doing what you want them to do all the time. You know, Brian and I have talked about that. The bigger you get, the harder it is to maintain everything. He learned trial by fire when stuff sat a little bit and then they couldn't pull the choke. It was rusted shut.
So you're learning what's best practices for him.
Yeah, you know, if you can learn from other people's mistakes, that is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
This is your man right here.
Yeah, and thankfully it's not my mistake, but you know, that is something that we make sure to do. Other thing besides that is just, this is a gas-powered engine.
Sure.
It is not 2 cycles, so you got to make sure it has oil.
Right.
The oil's clean. He's lucky, I'm lucky that he maintained his stuff enough that it came nice clean oil. So that's kind of saved us for this year. But before I break it out next year, better check the oil.
Yep. This you got an integrated light I see here. Now, did you just hardwire it to an aux switch, or do you have a different switch you installed?
That was it. Like I mentioned earlier, the small unit we had, we just ran off the auxiliary one of our upfitter switches that's right in the cab.
Okay.
When I went to this unit, it's gas powered. It didn't need that auxiliary switch, but we still had that lead and ground running up into the bed here.
Very cool.
So this actually, that's really the only thing I've done is we had that light sitting there on the bench in a workbench in our shop, so I went ahead and installed it. Took about 5 minutes because the hard work was already done.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's convenient.
Yeah.
Let's just finish this one up, man, because this was really good. Let's throw in the rest of the rig, because I know everybody's always asking what's mic run. Like, okay, a lot of people ask me also, like, we've always talked about, why don't I do salting? Well, because this, as pretty as she is, I don't want to get it around corrosive material necessarily.
Yes.
Right? So,
totally.
And you know, it's a great thing, and if I can put not that you even need it, but money in your pocket with contracts, and we can tag team and do the whole deal. You already have this set up. This isn't your personal vehicle. This is like literally
totally true.
This is Big Boy Club. This is independent vehicles. But that's where you're at in business at this point, right?
Yeah, I've been doing this over 10 years, so you don't think that, you know, this is my first year in business and I get to have all this.
Right.
You know, this is all earned.
Absolutely.
It's just, you get out there and you find out what works for your specific company. This works great for Brian.
Yep.
This works great for me. You know, but there's something different that might work best for you.
Absolutely. No, well said. You got the final. We'll wrap it up with the Boss Plow. Is this a 9.2 or 9.6? What do you got here?
This is an 8-foot 2-inch plow that we had left over from an old rig.
Okay.
And truthfully, this truck is thought of more of as our backup rig. It actually had a salter in it that we took out to kind of get into this liquid game to hedge us against these crazy high salt prices. So as such, I didn't want to make the investment of a brand new plow on a truck that was going to be our backup truck.
Right.
We had this plow sitting here from a previous, I think it was an F-350 or a Dodge Ram 2500.
Okay.
And so we had the plow here. It was easy enough to get the wiring and the harness installed, but being that it's an 8-foot 2-inch plow, it doesn't clear really the width of the dually, especially when it's retracted in V mode or V plowing mode.
Hence the wings at a minimum.
Yeah, so this was our quick, easy option that Weingart's, Brian and I's supplier, who takes excellent care of our business.
Oh yeah, good people there.
Yeah, this was their easy solution. They had it. They gave me, I actually installed it myself, but they gave me the quick, easy pointers on how to do that.
Yeah.
And in turn, this has made us, put us in business, got us rocking and rolling, and we didn't have to break the bank and buy brand new stuff. We kind of were able to make use with what we had, especially because at the time, this rig wasn't in theory going to see a ton of work.
Yeah.
It's definitely gone out more since we put the liquid unit in, that's for sure.
And the plow on it is nice, because if you do have a spot you need to touch up, like cars move late night.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about that. And you
all the time.
And you got to touch something up. It's good to have this on there.
Yeah, or you know, last year, because things happen, right? Last year we literally were heading out to service an event not very far from where Brian and I are standing. I had a piece of plastic come up underneath the truck, snag on our drivetrain, and take the F-550 down about 2 inches into an 8-inch snow event.
Jeez, oh Pete's. Well, that's before we even know each other, so you couldn't call for backup.
Yeah,
necessarily.
I couldn't have called Brian and said, hey, can you come help me out? Thankfully, I was able to get towed to my mechanic's house. He gave me a ride back, and I got in this truck and went to work and was only a couple hours behind at that point.
That's awesome.
Thanks to this. And Brian touched on, you know, if the liquid unit goes down, we still have that salter sitting there.
Right.
The wiring harness is there. If I had to, I could have this liquid unit out and our backup salter in in about 2 hours and be back out servicing sites. And that's things that you got to think of besides just getting the work done. Scenario one: what if things go wrong? What's plans A, B, and C?
No, that's
CYA,
awesome.
as Brian says.
Well, it's not always just getting the work; it's the backup plan and the contingency plans, and that's stuff
that's how you keep the work.
That's how. No, absolutely. Well, absolutely. I really appreciate the time. I know you guys do. I don't even know if we're gonna have to edit this video because this guy, he's also another actor, and he's just so smooth, man. Like, any which way, I really appreciate the time. I know a lot of you guys were asking about your setups, your liquid rigs.
Right.
We definitely wanted to do this a month ago, but he said, hey, wait till the another month from now. I'll take it a +1 and be able to share it with you guys on the internet. So all things being said, are you guys considering like liquid rigs and all that other stuff? You guys making more investments into the snow game for next year going into 2019?
Yeah.
We know we're all ready to go into spring, but we had to take this is like the first nice day.
Yeah, that's it.
That we've had.
We wanted to do this 4 or 5 weeks ago, but it's been snowing, it's been cold. This is a nice, beautiful day for us to stand out in a parking lot and talk shop
for an hour.
We wouldn't have done this when it was 5 degrees. This video would have been 90 seconds long.
We didn't have the time.
Yeah, I would have been like, here it is. See you guys. So this is nice, a nice, beautiful day. Spring is here, but this liquid unit will be here for next year for us.
Very cool.
And shoot Brian a question. Shoot me a question. We want to help you guys succeed in your businesses.
Absolutely. Well, dude, I really appreciate the time. If
My
you guys
pleasure.
can, shoot a comment down below. Thanks, Mike. If you watch this far into the video, it's because you're serious about the snow and salt game, and or you're just kind of hanging out in the office, right?
Yeah. Hey, we all do that too.
We all do that watching the video. So, all right, guys. Well, if you guys enjoyed this one, shoot it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe if you guys are new, and guys, we'll definitely catch you on the rebound. So we'll see you soon.
Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.